He lived on the edge of town, literally. His small, weather-beaten house sat back from the road, shrouded by trees. A single dirt path served as his driveway, a testament to his solitary existence. Most folks in town couldn't even tell you his name. He kept to himself, a shadow moving through the grocery store or the hardware store, always alone. He wasn't unfriendly, not exactly. There was a quiet nod he offered if you made eye contact, but his eyes held a depth that made you look away, like peering into a well too deep to see the bottom. There was a sadness there, a weight he carried that kept people at a distance. He preferred the company of animals, it seemed. A scruffy dog was usually by his side, a mirror image of his own weathered appearance. And sometimes late at night you could hear the mournful cry of a wolf echoing from the woods near his house. Some said he kept a wolf as a pet. Others said it was just a sound in his head. The truth, like most things about him, was shrouded in mystery. Rumors swirled around him like the dust devils that kicked up on the outskirts of town. Some whispered of a family, a wife and child, lost in a tragic accident years ago. Others spoke of a past life, a darkness he was trying to outrun. Whatever the truth, it was etched on his face. Lines of pain bracketed his mouth, and his eyes held a haunted look. He carried himself like a man who had seen too much, felt too much, and it created an invisible barrier around him, one that few dared to cross. He didn't speak much, but when he did, his voice was low and gravelly, like stones grinding together. It was the voice of a man who had learned the hard way that words were often cheap, easily broken promises. Actions, on the other hand, spoke louder than words, and his actions, though few, spoke volumes. There was the time a group of teenagers vandalized the old cemetery on the hill. Spray paint on headstones, flowers ripped from the ground. Everyone knew who did it, but nobody dared say a word, except him. He appeared at the edge of town square the next morning, a silent presence amongst the gossiping townsfolk. His eyes, though, spoke volumes. He didn't need to utter a threat. The very next day, the teenagers were seen scrubbing graffiti off headstones, their faces pale and drawn. Nobody asked how it happened. They didn't need to. Some things were better left unspoken. Like the way he looked at you, straight through you, as if he could see all your secrets, your deepest fears. It was that look that kept most people away. The sense that he knew things they didn't want to know. He was a walking enigma, a puzzle they couldn't solve. And sometimes the unknown is more frightening than any monster lurking in the shadows. But beneath the gruff exterior, beneath the layers of pain and solitude, there was something else. A flicker of something else in his eyes. Kindness, maybe. Or maybe just a deep understanding of the human condition, the kind that comes from staring into the abyss and coming out the other side. There was the time Mrs. Henderson's cat got stuck up a tree. The fire department had already packed up, ready to leave the poor creature to its fate. But then he appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. Without a word, he scaled that tree, his movements fluid and graceful, and brought the terrified cat back down to earth. He didn't wait for thanks, just melted back into the crowd. But for a moment, just a moment, the mask slipped. And the townsfolk saw a glimpse of the man he might have been, the man hidden beneath the weight of his past. He was a lone wolf, that much was certain. But even wolves, they say, mate for life. And sometimes the loneliest hearts are the ones that have loved the most.